Minister, thank you so much for joining the ABC from Berlin in quarantine. First, I've got to ask you about the situation in the United States. What is the main concern for Germany in how events around the US election have been unfolding? Are you concerned about some short-term conflict in response to the election result, or do you already fear that we face a period of considerable instability in the United States as a result of this election, whichever way it goes?
Well, first of all, of course, we have to wait for the result of the counting of the votes. It's a very tight race. It's very exciting, a lot of suspense, but it appears to be clear that legal measures will be taken as far as the result is concerned. So I do hope that within a reasonable period of time, we will get clarity and a result that will be accepted by all sides. So far, the result seems to show that we are in for a very divided reaction in the United States, but we need the United States as a stable partner, a stable friend everywhere in the world. So I do hope very much that things will clarify themselves very soon.
Are you concerned about the strategic implications of such instability for the Western Alliance and for Europe?
Well, as far as our partnership, especially the partnership between Europe and the United States is concerned, the transatlantic relations and our joint activities as part of NATO, for example. Well, as far as that is concerned, there are issues that are quite independent of that, independent of whether the president is called Joe Biden or Donald Trump. It's about the question what our obligations are within NATO and how we share these obligations between the European partners and the American partners. We have to deal with the question of the Indo-Pacific region and its increasing importance both to the United States and to Europe and Germany. These are issues we agree on, so I don't think there will be a lot of change in that respect. But what will certainly change if there's a change in the White House is the tone of address, the way we talk to each other. And we certainly hope for fewer disruptive elements in US policies for the future.
Germany and more broadly Europe have been seeking to take a more assertive strategic interest in the Indo-Pacific. What's Germany's view of China's growing influence and aggression in the region?
For us, China is one of our major trade partners. Without China, there are many worldwide questions such as climate change, issues that concern the entire humanity that cannot be solved without China. But it is a challenge because China has its own ideas about individual freedoms, human rights, our Western idea of democracy, and the issue of a rules-based world order and acting accordingly internationally. They do not share many of these ideas that we have, many of these values that we have. So it is important for us to cooperate more closely with like-minded partners that share our values. We need to increase that cooperation because when it comes to the future international order, we can see that we are in the middle of a competition between different systems, different ideas and values and priorities.
Well, you say Germany wants to be a reliable partner in the region. What material form will that take?
Even now, we have a lot of positive bilateral relations with Australia and other partners in the region. Nevertheless, I am aware that our partners expect us to do more cooperation, more presence. For example, when it comes to sending out a clear signal for freedom of navigation, free sea routes. We had the plan of sending German Navy units to the Indo-Pacific for exercises, but unfortunately, because of the COVID situation, we have not been able to do that. We hope to be able to do that next year.
How will it specifically apply to Australia and our defence and strategic cooperation with Germany? There's been talk, for example, of naval officials joining Australian Navy vessels.
So we want to increase our presence in joint exercises. We want to participate. We want to send German Navy officers to work in Australian Navy units, for example. And as I said, we hope to send a ship there next year to the Indo-Pacific.
France has also stepped up its presence, particularly in the Pacific, in the last couple of years because it's concerned about China. Do you see a changing role for Germany in the Pacific, particularly in areas like soft diplomacy to counter the Belt and Road Initiative?
What we're doing is we develop our activities in the Indo-Pacific, not just as a nation, not just as Germany, but we do that in cooperation with our European partners, because not just for Germany, but for Europe as a whole, we need a good and stable situation in the Indo-Pacific. Freedom of navigation, that is an important matter for all of us. We want to work and we rely on a rules-based international order. So the steps we have been taken in the Indo-Pacific have always been steps we closely coordinate with our European partners. I firmly believe that Germany can do more than in the past, and our relations and our policies can play a stronger role, a greater role, and I'm talking about diplomatic activities, but also cooperation on security.
Defence Minister, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Bitte schön.
You're welcome.